Hello everyone, Andrew here with a market outlook for next week. Next week we're gonna also have NFP, so it's gonna be a really volatile week. It's gonna be the end of the month, the end of August, and also the beginning of September. And Friday, 2nd of September, is gonna be NFP. So I think we're gonna have a really volatile week and we need to be prepared, and we also need to be really calm about it so we don't get into over trading, over risking, or having some kind of fear of missing out. Because it's the end of the month, the monthly candle is gonna close, so that's gonna bring some volatility, and also the new monthly candle is gonna open, so that can also go both ways, because as you know, every candle basically needs to make a wick, especially since it's on the monthly time frame. So let's look at DXY. DXY currently right now has retested the highs once again on the monthly level. We are situated around here, which is not really that good because we have 4 days left. So if we close near the top, then there's a big chance price will start moving up again. Weekly also, you can see how I made a break of structure on the weekly and it's heading to retest that. It closed like bullish here, which is not really the best confluence. Daily also had a huge wick to the downside and then closed bullish, so that again is not a good sign for dollar weakness. 4 hour as well closed with a huge wick to the downside, came to mitigate some of these areas and then closed bullish again, and now looks like price wants to potentially head up. So keeping that in mind, here also retested, came, grabbed liquidity, had a drop, came right into this 1 hour demand right here, from where we made a bullish change of character and we basically made a V-shaped recovery for price to go up again. So my prediction for next week is gonna be, we're gonna have potentially a small pullback and then maybe a continuation to take the high, and then after have a reversal to the downside. That's gonna be the first case scenario. The second scenario that can happen is if DXY decides to go bullish towards the end of the month and just keep making higher highs and higher lows, then next month we can have another high being made and then start dropping. So that's my prediction. We are closing on the end of the year. September is one of the best months to trade in. So we're gonna have a lot of moves in the market and a lot of opportunities to actually make money. So let's take a look on EURUSD as well. On the 4 hour, let's start from the monthly. Monthly again doesn't look that good for buys. We are still trading under the 1.0 level. We kind of retested it a lot of times. Weekly as well closed bearish. I was expecting the weekly candle to close like a doji so we can have some more bullish move in next week, but that did not happen. Daily as well closed with a huge wick to the upside, so there's 2 ways to go about it. It left a wick in order to fill it in the next daily candles, or it left a liquidity wick for price to retest again and then start dropping. If we drop down to the 4 hour, we can see basically the same thing. Price came right into this 4 hour supply zone, close to the 1.01 level, and gave a really nice reaction from that area, and then he closed bearish with a huge wick and then started going to the demand right here, which in theory is a weak demand, so price can go down more. So looking at price action, it doesn't really look good for buys. We also had a lot of bullish movement, like you see the huge bullish movement, and then we had a slow retracement, another bullish move, and then some nice continuation, a slow retracement, and another big impulse to the upside. By the way, this was 130 pips, and now we have another retracement back. So in my opinion, and from what I saw and from my experience, this usually means price has built enough liquidity for it to take out. So what I'm expecting is again to have some kind of bullish movement, and then we're gonna start dropping potentially to fill this area right here, or even come lower to retest this low right there. So either come again to the low, to the 0.99 level, and then start heading up to make that new high. That's my expectation for next week, because 4 hour structure is also bullish. Like we made the break of structure, we had a retracement. So if we remove the wicks, you can see how structure is still bullish, like it's respecting everything. And then if we respect this area again, or this actually, if we come back to this area right here and respect that low, then we will start heading for a new high. So that's my my opinion. That's what I'm gonna wait for EURUSD, so more bullish continuation, but I don't think this area is gonna hold. I think it's gonna come lower to this area before pushing higher. And if we look on the 50-minute, we have a nice doji right there where price can come. This was mitigated. Also build some liquidity right here, which is gonna price probably is gonna come here again. It's gonna have a nice reaction, building more liquidity, inducing more buyers in the market, and then it's gonna drop, take liquidity, and then start heading up. Maybe that's gonna happen with NFP. So price may range in this area until Friday, and Friday we may see a drop in that area and then a continuation higher. So that is a possibility. We just need to be patient because we also have more news. NFP is not the only news we have. If we if I take a quick look at Forex Factory. We also have ADP, non-farm employment changes on Wednesday, which is gonna bring some volatility in, and then we have NFP. So Wednesday and Friday we're gonna have some big news for the dollar, so we need to be really careful about that. Price can also come back to this extreme, which is another doji on the 50-minute. I'm not gonna refine it right now, but that area is a possibility as well. And then we can also retest the low and mitigate some of these areas right here on the smaller time frame in order to continue bullish. But right now we're just looking at the bigger picture. So 4-hour structure tells me that price will mitigate these areas and then we start heading up. So let's see if that's the case, if that happens. If not and price continues dropping down, then I'm gonna wait for the next break of structure, the 4-hour, and wait for a pullback and then see if we can head up. This downtrend on EU has been going for quite a while. We are breaking all-time lows, which is not a good thing for the economy. We are also trading under the 1.0 level, so I think next week we're gonna start heading up to trade up at least above the 1.0 level. So looking at just the monthly time frame, this is a good area to take buys in. We look to the left, like this is a really good area to take buys from, just because we are at that all-time lows. So we need to start heading up and start trading above the 1.0 level, because technically speaking that is not acceptable for the European Central Bank. So that's my prediction for next week. I'm gonna look for some buys in these areas if I see a trade. If not, I'm gonna wait for NFP and see what brings us. Then again, you only need one good trade per week or 2 good trades per week, and I prefer to take those trades when there's volatility in the market. So that's Wednesday and Friday. Let's look at GU as well. GU on the monthly time frame is also closing really bearish, filling this week. Weekly, you can see we have the week right there where price can come into. Daily as well, we have a nice demand zone right here where price can come to. Daily also made a break of structure, so I'm expecting market open to have some kind of pullback back to this area and then potentially take the low again. So GU looks a lot more bearish than EU, but we are also in a really good zone to look for some buys, just because we closed right here. Okay, we have that zone, we barely touched it. The 5-minute didn't really we touched that week. So for me, GU right now is in a good area to go long from. So if I see some kind of confluence during London, or before London actually, so we have that 10-minute right there. So if I see some confluences in before London, I kind of want to take a buy. So maybe that's gonna happen in Asia. Asia is probably gonna range up to this area right here and then have a rejection, and then price during London open will come, take this low, and then potentially have that reversal. So that's what I'm gonna wait for GU. It looks kind of nice in terms of that intraday like buy opportunity, because we dropped a lot. So this was a 160 pip drop, so that's what I'm expecting for potentially next week. See that liquidity being taken and then continuing up. And looking at the bigger picture, I do think it's gonna continue bearish to that area, so it's gonna drop like 200 pips more. That's a possibility, especially looking at the daily time frame. Looks like it wants to keep going down. So unless we have a clear change of character on daily, so if we have a change of character and then a mitigation, then I'm gonna start looking for some buys. Also on the 4-hour time frame, same thing. I want to see some structure being formed, something like this, so I can take some buys. Unless that happens, then structure is still bearish, so I'm not gonna chase a falling knife. Now gold is a different beast right now, because it's been manipulated a lot. As I said, the Feds want to keep price low. I was kind of waiting for gold to come to 70.69 area so I can take some shorts. It came close, it came around 20 pips away, so that's really bad, because then it dropped like 300 pips. But I'm still expecting price to start heading up to take that liquidity there and then start dropping more. I see gold potentially going lower towards the 17.11 area before going long again, just because the Feds are really trying to keep the price down. So you can see the manipulation. And also looking at the 4-hour structure, it's really bearish right now. Like look at the 4-hour structure, we're respecting that high, we made a low, then we made a new lower high, and price is heading towards a new low. So it may consolidate a bit before dropping again on NFP. But of course the big move is gonna happen on Friday, most probably. So we need to see how the structure plays out until then, so we can have a good decision of next month, which is September, to see which direction the market will want to go. Let's take a quick look at crypto as well, because as I said last time. I was expecting some bearish movement and continuation on Bitcoin, which kind of happened. I still see it dropping a lot more, so I still see it dropping below 17k, even 15k. So when price drops towards that area, I'm possibly gonna look to invest some money into Bitcoin longs. Until then, I'm just waiting because it's trapping a lot of buyers right now. A lot of buyers are getting into the market thinking this is all-time lows. A lot of buyers are getting trapped right now because they think this is the new low. So that's probably not gonna happen. Looking at monthly, we still have that down area to retest. So I think it's gonna head there before potentially going higher. Same thing for Ethereum. Ethereum is also gonna keep going lower. So if we have some mitigation right here, some consolidation, we can execute some sells to take that new low. First target's probably gonna be around 1300 and then even lower towards 900 and 700. So that's gonna probably happen with Ethereum as well. So the end of August seems again really bullish for USD, which is not really a great sign, but because we are trading the forex market, we don't care which direction the price is going. We're just executing with our edge to make some profits. So I'm gonna probably wait until Friday or Wednesday when we have the news to potentially take a trade for next week, just because I don't like to trade the monthly closes because price usually ranges during that time, and also I don't like to trade the monthly opens, but this is like a one-time thing because we have NFP. So I'm gonna wait and see how the news play out to eventually take a quick trade and make my profits for the week. So I really hope you have a good and profitable week. Don't go into the markets having a fear of missing out because that never helps. Don't over risk, don't over trade, just wait for a clear setup and then risk your money on it if you actually want to make some profits from the market. And as always, don't forget to join our Discord and our mentorship by joining on fxatrading.com, and leave a like on this video and maybe a comment to let me know if the outlooks are helpful or not. Saying that, I'll see you guys in the Discord and have an amazing week.